Hi, this is Ramaji from ramaji.org, and today I'm going to talk about Amrita Nadi in detail. This video is part 3 of my informal video series on Amrita Nadi and the I thought and how they relate to enlightenment and the endarkenment that we perceive, the apparent endarkenment that we as human beings perceive on this planet. Part 1, video number 1, was an overview of the I thought and Amrita Nadi, the rising of the I thought to the brain and its impact on the person, and then Amrita Nadi as the natural enlightened, illuminated state, as described by Sri Ramana Maharshi and as described and observed and experienced by myself. So I am reporting from my own personal experience, but certainly I was guided and inspired and blessed by Ramana Maharshi, so, as well as many other gurus such as Nisargadatta Maharaj and of course my root guru, Ramesh Balsekar. So Amrita Nadi is something that is, Ramana Maharshi did not come up with it. It already existed in the sacred literature of India. It was called Para Nadi and so on. But it is not the same as Sushumna Nadi that goes up the spine. Now that vertical channel does play a role in the sense that Kundalini awakening all the way through the crown of the crown chakra of the body does play a role. Very often there must be a Kundalini rising, opening, and clearing through the crown chakra in order for there to be an awakening, or at least a full awakening of the heart on the right. Although I don't know that this needs to be a truly conscious experience, it might just happen. In the case of a sage or jnani, it might just happen, and they may or may not be aware of Kundalini process. In my case, there definitely was a very gradual, very steady, and very obvious working of the Kundalini up through the crown, and then I had a vision of Mount Kailash, which is sacred to Lord Shiva and is said to be his home. And that was at the time of the crown chakra opening, and then, very interestingly, there was shown to me a secret hidden passageway and inside the mountain, and that went straight down to the heart on the right. And then subsequent to that, I experienced the illumination of Amrita Nadi. So all of this is really something from my own personal experience, and I frankly would not be comfortable talking about it unless I had experienced it. I'm not into theory, I'm not into speculation, I'm not into philosophy. This is just simply the natural state of a person once they have removed the contraction that is imposed upon them by the rising of the I am the body thought, by the impact of the I thought. So Kundalini can be involved, and some people who are enlightened, fully realized, do not talk about the heart on the right. They typically, though, do talk about the crown becoming fully illuminated. Nityananda, who was Swami Muktananda's guru, for example, he talked about that, and he would even call, if I recall this correctly, he even called the space above the crown the heart of space. So that's very interesting. He called that the heart of space. But anyway, you can see his picture and you can see that he's obviously illuminated. So Nityananda was a great master, a very great master. And although he did not talk about the heart on the right, he was talking about the luminosity of the crown, and that is in relationship to the heart on the right and the full illumination of Amrita Nadi. We have a symbol of that in the form of the king's crown, which is often gold, and The king's crown symbolizes the awakened crown chakra, but also the awakened Amrita Nadi. And we also have the famous image of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And although that heart is in the center of the chest, I really kind of relate it to the heart on the right, because it's not just the interpersonal heart chakra, the anahata chakra, it's the actual causal chakra, or hridayam chakra, that would be the basis for universal love and for divine love, like Jesus is showing us. So that picture is actually, at least to me, very definitely about the heart on the right, and the love that comes from living from the heart on the right, and especially when Amrita Nadi is awakened. So here is my rendition or rendering with my amateurish drawing skills of Amrita Nadi. And it starts at the heart on the right. It goes across the chest through the psychic or intuitive chakra, the anahata chakra, also related to the dream state. So it's going from deep sleep state or causal state as it relates to the body, then the dream state or subtle body, and then to the physical, the heart on the left, that we think of as the heart. And then it curves up behind the neck, and then up over the head, and then down into the head, and then when it opens up, then the crown chakra is wide open and extremely bright. And so that's where we get these the idea of a light around the head of a saint and so on, or a halo. And it's analogous to a light bulb coming on. And when it first comes on, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a glowing filament, and that glowing filament is Amrita Nadi. And then as it gets brighter and brighter and brighter, then the light just simply is overwhelming and takes over everything, illuminates everything, so that in a sense the world falls away, it dissolves away, it is lost in the brilliance and in the transparency. There's a transparency. So you could call this the light of the absolute. So when the filament gets bright enough, then the light really gets bright. You don't notice the filament anymore. Then there's just the brightness, and then that's the direct experience of the self as everything, that there is only the self. And so then the world is lost in that brightness. So it doesn't mean you can't experience it, or you can't perceive it, or you can't relate to it, but it's just that you're no longer living in a world of shadow. You're no longer living in darkness or twilight or the in-between, the gray zone that is induced by the impact of the I am the body thought. When it hits the brain, takes over the body and produces the I am the body feeling, which is the source of the experience of separation. So you no longer feel the separation. So in that sense, because it's simply primal luminosity, the self is everything, there is only the self, and the self is this light, then the world is simply a part of that, and it's not separate. It's just a part of that direct experience of the illumination. And so in that, all problems are resolved, and it's a wholeness that is seamless, that is eternal, and of course really cannot be described in words, but you could say it is beyond both duality and non-duality, in the sense that it is a prior eternal wholeness, and therefore it was never dual, and it could not become dual. And if it was never dualistic and it could never become dualistic, well then obviously it could never become non-dualistic either. Hope that makes sense. So anyway, it's a supreme wholeness, and in this it is happiness, it is peace, it is love, it is joy. It is everything that we want, that in our hearts we yearn for. So that is the fulfillment that is represented and delivered, if you will, by Amrita Nadi. Amrita Nadi is also called Para Nadi and so on. but it means river of light, channel of immortality, and so on. But I think I've explained why it might be described in that way. So the drawing that I have here is not completely accurate. I had to do something, and it's kind of westernized in the sense that I put a halo there. But really it's more like a total radiance or a total glow, and ultimately, in a sense, the body disappears, although the body's still there. So it would have been really hard for me to draw that. I don't know how. Maybe it's possible, but I don't know how to do it. So what I decided to do was just show the pathway. Another thing that can happen is the heart, the radiance of the heart fills up the whole chest, and, you know, as I explained, in fact, takes over the world and eliminates or dissolves the world, and makes it transparent in the luminosity. So this isn't really accurate, but it shows the pathway, and then the radiance at the crown. Think of that as like the radiance of the sun, and likewise the heart on the right is the radiance of the sun, and then so is Amrita Nadi. It's also the radiance of the sun, and there's an expression from the Hindu scriptures, the light of 1,000 suns. And I believe this is a description of enlightenment and Amrita Nadi when it is fully established. So now I'm not the only one who came up with this information. I was blessed to receive it from Ramana Maharshi, and also to get clarification of it from Sadhu Om, also Swami Lakshmana Swami, and the writer-editor David Godman has been very principal in bringing this information out to the world, so we all should thank him for that. And here's a reading list of those books that I highly recommend. I also recommend, it's not on the list, but Talks with Sri Ramana Maharshi. You can get a used hardback, that's what I have, of the 3 volumes in one, and it hasn't changed very much, so you can get an older edition. But anyway, Ramana Maharshi talks about Amrita Nadi. He talks about the I thought. He talks about the I am the body thought. He talks about how it shoots up, how it rises up, and how that is the one thing that interferes with our natural state that we already are and that we already have, which is the self, or the natural illumined state, the state of illumination. That is our birthright. That is our spiritual Garden of Eden that we're already living in, only it's been stolen from us by the I am the body thought, and it specifically is stolen from us right in the morning. So I could probably go on and on, but you get the idea. So if you have any questions or you want to contact me, please visit me at ramaji.org. And then I am currently living in San Diego, and I expect to be here for quite a while. So you can go to meetup.com, Ramaji-satsang-group, and if you do a search, Meetup Ramaji San Diego, I'm sure you'll find me there. So I'm doing my best to make myself available, and oh yeah, on that reading list you'll see that I have a Kindle book, Enlightenment for Everybody Volume 2, that goes into Amrita Nadi and the I thought, and this whole thing of how the I thought produces an endarkened world. But anyway, I wanted to share this with you. These are my direct perceptions, my direct observations, and such as they are, these are my own drawings of what I see and what I've experienced. So that's it for now. I hope this is useful. I hope you do some reading, and feel free to ask me any questions, email, and then of course I give Rasa spiritual transmission over Skype or in person here in San Diego. So this is Ramaji from ramaji.org, wishing you many blessings in the self. Take care, dear ones. Bye for now.